appreciate the views, the comments, the likes. Thank you. Like, it's it helps you guys, it helps me. And again, after taking that big hiatus, I appreciate that so many of you came back and are doing the damn thing with me once again. So shoot, this is just a single squat, RP8, just to kind of keep that skill. We only do that and then we get into the rest of our lower body day. So what I wanted to go over this week was just the fact that at my gym I've seen a lot of new members, like a lot of greenies that are just straight up putting it down. Like, look, they're not all the way comfortable with many things in the environment. Certain aspects of it still intimidating, still not a habit, but they're in there doing their thing. And it just reminded me of like when I first started doing this, when I was about like 16 years old. But you know, everyone's done a curl. That was literally the only thing I knew how to do, was a curl. And I remember, this was a PR, by the way. I remember like just kind of doing my curls and like looking around like, man, that dude's super huge. Man, I hope I'm doing this right. I bet, is someone like, am I doing this? Is someone looking at me? Maybe like, hey, look at that dude. What a what a clown, right? So we've all been there at some point. And something I'm going to do a much better job of doing is just ensuring that people who are new, who are trying to get the ball rolling with this lifting thing, that they just feel more welcomed, because I love strength training. It's I think the closest thing to perfect exercise. Yeah, a little biased maybe, right? But nevertheless, yeah, I wish more people would join us. And like all like niche hobbies, right? Like it's one of those things where there's so many misunderstandings about what it is to, you know, be a freaking gym rat. So I think one way we can help some of the, you know, some of the negative schema that's out there is by making your gym a welcoming environment. So I, for one, am going to start doing a better job of doing that, because I mean, shoot, when I stopped, like those emotions are so strong that like literally to this day I still remember how, like, yeah, how intimidating and overwhelming it was to get in there and do my thing as bad as I wanted to do it. So anyhow, spiel for the day, get off that soapbox, and yeah, and we're here now. We're to the point where we're like extra bougie about certain things, extra about certain things, and yeah, like we've come a long way, and it's crazy how time flies, and I appreciate the fact that even though this is kind of, I feel like my log is kind of like, for those of you guys who were familiar and remember, like that old Seinfeld show where it's like, it's about what? I can't really tell you. It's like, these are the characters, but it's kind of like, it was known as the show that was really about nothing, and to an extent it is what we're doing here. It kind of is the training log. It kind of is about nothing in a sense, but I am trying to do one thing to make it maybe a little bit more clear, a little bit more comprehensive, and what I want to do is I want to bring back the the old like training sheet where you guys can follow along, because okay, right now, because this is the situation prior where I was on lockdown and you know, doing like slightly below maintenance levels of volume, it's easy to make progress, and I think I can get away with just like I've been winging it, man. I have, but it's like I know what I can recover from, and I float around there, and I know that by the time the next week comes and I'm doing that same training session, so we don't change things week to week, it's the same thing. I know that more or less I'll be ready to, you know, show improvements, you know, across all movements for the most part. So so yeah, I know where that threshold is, so I'm kind of, again, doing it that way. I feel like I can still get away with that for a while. I feel like I can get away with that for a long while, but the truth is, that's just, it's like my last contest prep diet. It's like I tracked, but I didn't really track. You know, it's like I tracked, and then based off like my recovery, how my weight loss was happening, how I was looking, where I was in regards to the show schedule, I would decide, okay, Bert, you know, we can have a little bit more, or it's like, hey, you know, dude, like shut it down, we're cool for the day. So so same thing with the training. I've gotten pretty good at that, but I want to make it more tangible, right? I don't want to do the Excel sheet thing. I want something a little bit more practical while I'm in there, because, you know, usually what I was doing prior to the lockdown was just writing it down in a notepad. So I think what I would like is advice from you guys in regards to any sort of training app that is Android compatible. I know. I've heard iPhone. Yes, I know. That's what I have right now. So I know Eric uses Gravitas, and top of the line from what I see, but I don't think it's available for the Android just yet. So if you guys know of some app that you know, I can keep track of my stuff on, share it with you guys. That's the number one thing, because who cares if it's like in my gym bag, right? If y'all don't get to see it, and yeah, just kind of show you guys that, you know, to a large extent, it's like we ain't that different. It's like I'm in there pounding away, and aimlessly, and then eventually a big chunk falls off. And I want you guys to see that, you know, that we're basically in the same boat together. My boat's probably a little bit worse because it's been sailing for a minute, but yeah. So anyhow, so I was doing the Cybex Leg Press twice a week. I decided to change it up, my second session, to this contraption right here, the hammer strength unilateral leg press. I love this machine. I think it's the best out of all the machines in my gym, my squat patterns in my gym. It trumps everything. Now the issue with it though is that it's unilateral. So I'm sure you guys know it sucks, right? It hurts, it burns. You do twice the work. And with this thing is I just feel like I'm in a crowded little like DeLorean type automobile. Like the whole gym is free and I'm here surrounded by metal. Like, get me out of here. It's only set 2 and it's set 2 and again it's like 2, 2, 3, 3. So but you know what? I was clustering my second squat pattern day anyways. So with this thing, I'm like, hey, you know what? We'll go ahead and just bring it here, because there's perks to it. Again, it's amazing. But again, it's like dual leg. However, plot twist, my gym is getting like all sorts of new equipment. I think 10 total pieces. One of them is going to be a pendulum squat. I've never had experience with a pendulum squat, so I want to see what the hype is about. But I hear that in general they're not necessarily as like black and white as, like, say, hack squats, right? Or like a hack squat is it's either fantastic, oh it's crap. It's fantastic, or it's crap, right? There's very few, like, you know, passing grade hack squats. So yeah, we'll check that one out. One thing about this contraption here, I hope the pendulum is actually like crappy so that I can stick it here and just, I've always gotten good results from it. One thing I don't like about this machine is like you just don't know where to put your hands, right? So yeah, that's what happens. Like the longer you train and you just tried all sorts of pieces of equipment, is like you have all these needs, right? And you get extra, like, first world with it. But with this one, yeah, it's like there's right down my right. You can hold on to the machine there, but then you do this and then you do that. It's like there's never, but I don't think with this sort of setup, a unilateral squat pattern in this angle, you'll ever really find a comfy place to put your hands. So it's something that you'll see, that's something I'm constantly like searching and moving, and there really isn't a comfortable spot. But I think it's just because the movement itself is like, it's uncomfortable because it's so demanding, so stimulating rather, in a good way. But again, like in the midst of the stress that's rushing through your system, it's like, what do I do with these hands? So yeah, little things like that matter. Like one thing I love about the Cybex is the fact that you can like rack like the load, right? Put those like put that safety back up like very easily, very efficiently, no matter how hard that set was. At my old gym, it was kind of like a C+ leg press that I had, but that was one of the issues, was the fact that when you were done, it's like oh man, let me reach over and like, you know, like hook it so it doesn't come crashing on me. So so it would have been like a B- leg press into a C+ leg press because of that fact. So again, like super extra at this point, man. Like we know what we like, and we know what goes into like a good design. And this is again if you have access to this one, use it. Bring that seat as far forward as you can. I basically have it as as far forward as it goes, and enjoy that range of motion. And by the way, someone told me, like on my last one, is like, hey, yo, Bert, your Micah's Rotelli is showing when you were leg pressing, and you know, they said my form looked like much like his, and again, it's like I'm glad that's becoming a trend, and it's partially that dude and my homie Jared Feather. So yeah, let's make that. Yeah, people always take like pride in their squats, right? But people like we let each other get away with the leg press and just far too much. Love this hamstring curl, the ham tractor. Again, hips extra flexed, toes pointed forward so that there's less soleus helping you out, and that flexing at the hip. I do it unilaterally because I can like flex at the hip just a little bit easier. Totally different feeling. You're gonna love it. But one thing that will stay for the foreseeable future again is like this contraption here, the hammer strength high row. My rear delts, my rhomboids, my traps, all it. And again, because I'm like doing it with my ribs down, I feel like there's a little extra lat there. Then again, it's not like a super lat dominant movement, but I'm getting a little bit more than I would have otherwise. Again, the last off season I had where like my back just made all sorts of progress. Like this was the prime mover. Like this is where I started. Personally, like for me, I think one of the reasons why is because my technique is like pretty spot on. But I like to think, I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, like I take it down as low as like 4 to 6 on this. You know, it's like I do it with presses. I'll do it with pulls too. Main thing is do it right. One epiphany I did have this week, it was the fact that Versa grips work, man. Versa grips work. It's been years since I've used them, and I think I had a pair, and then you know they age. So I was like, you know what, never mind this. I used to be like a grip maniac. I was from that camp that like if you can't grip it, you can lift it, and I don't have like the biggest hands in the world, but boy, they can hold on to like anything. So, because again, like I think often like people who complain about grip is like they're also using like some crappy loose form and using loads they shouldn't. So, I guess all this time I've kind of been like, you know what, I don't feel like it's hindering me, and you know, again, it's like I'm using loads that I think are appropriate. You know, that I can still again like have technique that I think is ideal for said movement. But no, I put those bad boys on, like just how I was able to wedge in there and create all sorts of tension and become like one with the bar. So you'll be seeing a lot more of those Versa grips from now on, just night and freaking day. Amazing. I know, right? It's like, Bert, what about this year 21 talk and fundamentals and you pull off this BS? Kind of goes to show you, right? It's like, hey, always like check up on those. Always. With that said, the dilemma, I guess, that we do have right now, there is one. Not everything's going 100% well. It's just the fact that my clothes does not fit. Like, I don't hate the way I look. As a matter of fact, I like it for different reasons. I mean, I feel big, I feel thick, I feel strong, I feel, dare I say, like just extra macho man, you know, like dark parking lot. Here I go, right? Like it's nice in its own way, but I have 2 pairs of pants that fit me. Like that's it. Like one is actually 1.5. One's like, I'm on the way out, buddy. It's like I don't know how much longer I can do this with you. And then the other one is just like, just makes me look like I have like Fupa City, man. So that one will stick around for a minute, but that's the dilemma. So it's like, what do I do? But then at the same time, it's like, I guess these are, part of the sacrifices, right? So maybe I'm answering my own question here. And just keep rolling with it, right? Like, hey, I can, for a period of time, you know, be the guy that's like always in athletic gear. But yeah, it's like, man, like lots of my favorite outfits just don't fit me, or they fit me funny. So I don't know. We'll stick it through. And the main reason I want to stick it through is, again, it's like name of the journal. I want to be a good example to you guys, because you know, once that whole aesthetics movement like came in, it's like, and the Instagrams, it's like just people were just way too much concerned with like getting that look, but forgetting that like the number one step is like, yo, build that base, like, hey, like put on the size. So yeah, I want to lead by example in that regard, and yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable, but not like, I guess like the way someone who's new to this would be, but more so just the fact that it's like, for a minute it's gonna be same clothes in the gym, same clothes out the gym. Hey, whatever, I guess it is what it is, right? But I like the look, like, don't get me wrong, I think it's like, that's a thick boy. So it's good in its own way, but yeah, another thing is that, you know, like people are super infatuated with like the body recomp. Like whenever I have a Skype consultation and you know, like we're doing our talkie thing, right? I'm like, so do you want to gain? Do you want to lose? What do you want to do here? And usually like, I want to recomp. So it's like, what? Like, yeah, I want to get leaner while gaining muscle. And it's like, well, you guys know who the candidates for that are, right? It's like, okay, well, did you like start going on vitamin S? Were you once in really good shape and you kind of detrained and now you have to get it back? Okay, you know, okay, those two so far can recomp. Are you a straight up noob, like super untrained? Okay, you can recomp. But, you know, like if you're neither of those, you don't fit the criteria of those three, it's like, you know, you one or the other is going to probably get you there in a much more efficient way. But I guess we can say there's like 3.5 different scenarios, and one of them is like when you have enough body fat in your body, where it seems, I've seen it in myself, I've seen it with my athletes, where it's like your body is like, okay, well, I feel super safe in all this like rainy day storage we have, like, yeah, we can pull a little bit from there and use it to synthesize what we need to get those like biceps nice and polished up, right? So I've seen myself, you know, again, going intakes where I reach that top end weight during my off season, and then just kind of like chill there. It again, like I'm not losing weight, but I'm not gaining weight at a rate that's super explicit. So very similar to what I would be doing, or what I will be doing. Thank you, Mr. Man in a motorcycle. But where, you know, again, it's like from here until the end of the year, I'll probably gain like another 4 pounds, something like that. But there will be a recomping that goes along with that. So yeah, you can recomp, but you have to be like, you know, kind of a, yeah, thick, like that boy right there. So, anyhow, a little out there, but yeah, I think I'm gonna stick it through. Like, and even the shorts are like, homie, how much longer do we have to do this for? But hey, I don't want to look the same next time I get up on that stage, and yeah, we're due for a major reconstruction period. So leave you with this contraption here, getting the hang of it. Ribs down on this one. Same thing, works super well. And yeah, so hopefully that helps someone. Hopefully I gave you guys something to think about when it comes to your situation in some way, some ideas perhaps. Nevertheless, I'll sign off with what I started, and that's just like, yo, you see someone new at the gym who's just starting out, you know, who's just not all the way there. It's like, hey, like, give them props, like for showing up. Make them feel welcomed. You know, it's like, it's always nice when you go somewhere, you know, you're still kind of like on the fringe, you know, with the whole situation, and, you know, people are like, yo, what up, bro fist. So it helps, man, it helps. And you could indirectly help someone, yeah, really stick it through with this, and discover all the perks that I've discovered, that you guys have discovered, and then they'll keep passing it on. And yeah, the world will be a more jacked, stronger place, and they'll be subscribed to this channel, and they'll like my videos. So anyhow, that is that. I will leave it there. I'll see you guys next week. Per usual, it's a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for the support. Humbled by it. All right, peace.